In our previous episode on this street stock build, we put the rear end in. Love it, it's working great. I'm really satisfied with how this turned out. But it's useless without springs. And so in this episode, we need to figure out like all of this up here. So like we gotta put our mount on. I had to cut this and loose on the left side, so we gotta remount our lower mount here, and we've got our springs here. Well, there's weight jacks and weight jack bolts, and like, what does that support system look like? Like, how are we going to do that and create this base that everything behind that, the fuel cell and all of that, like what that's going to attach to that's going to work for us for this metric frame street stock build? Yeah, so let's do all of this. Y'all stick around. All right, so let's figure out that location on this left rear spring. So I've got a cup here. I just want to see, you may see this. This is actually two different pieces. So you see there's a smaller one, a larger one. I thought about putting a bearing, you know, like a Torrington bearing in here, but without this being sealed with an edge to keep the dirt from getting ingested, it would just immediately load up with dirt back there and it would stop functioning. So I don't really think it's a viable design, but works good. I can weld that one on, just slide that one on. All right, so there you go. That's what's going on there. So it has me, Racin USA Street Stock requires me to mount this center front to back. All right, so I can't move it rearward, nothing like that. And I put the spring on here. And remember, I'm 1.5 degrees down. I'm 1 inch lower on this side of the hub than I am that side. So I'm 1.5 degrees down. So this whole coil spring is leaning toward the frame. I want to be as close as possible to this hub, especially on this left side. But a couple of things are working against me because we know the rear end is going to shift to the left when it's under load. So when I'm in the turn and I'm really loaded with a lot of side bite, this is definitely going to get, this whole bottom is definitely going to get moved toward this frame rail right here. So that's working against me. So I don't want to turn this cup up to mount this square. I want to keep this down at the angle where it's pointed in that direction to go down with it. And I want to get as close as I can to this frame rail without binding in it. I am going to clearance the top of this frame rail. I looked at this from a rule standpoint. It's no different than clearancing for the front. You know, so like we clearance the front spring pockets for our springs on the frame. Well, I'm going to clearance this back for this spring pocket right here on the back. I don't see a problem with it. So I've got a piece of 6-inch pipe cut right here. This frame angles up and out, so it's got like this corner that comes out like 1/2 inch from where the bottom is. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to figure out the ideal place to put this, and then we're going to come back, cut us a piece of steel out right here, and take this top corner out, peel that back, and weld that in, beef it all right back up. I think that's a good solution that let us get as far as we can, but make sure we've got the clearance. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this 1 inch from the bottom right here. So I'll just take, and I will slide that over, and I'll come right, turn to a coil. Right. So like that right there, that location like that, and then turn around. And of course, obviously that's closer up top, but we're going to clear it. We're going to cut that top away, bend that back, weld all that up, make us some clearance for the top. Location-wise, from the hub face, let's look. What is that? So that's 12.5 inches on this left side. That's 12.5 inches as well from this left side for where the center of it is done. So you think about it from this standpoint, what we're doing, we're still at 12.5 inches. We were fine and we don't have clearance to frame on that side because it's moving this way. But on this left side, we're going to clearance it because we're leaning towards it and we're going to be moving that way. So we've got to do some work in order to be in 12.5 on both sides. We've got to do some work over here on this side. I think it's a good solution. Let's get that knocked out. Hang on, one more dimension to talk about. So like angle-wise, front to back, all right? What do we do here? Well, I'm going straight up and down with 90 degrees with it sitting here at what I believe is going to be static ride height. Why am I doing that? Well, here's my thought process on this. This rear end is going to move forward as it goes down further, and it's going to move, you know, when it moves up, it's going to stay straight, and it's going to like turn in just a little bit right as it compresses further. So like this cup, it's not going to move like this. It's going to move, you know, kind of in an angle. It's going to be both moving on a curve, but then also rotating, all right? Very slight pinion angle change. It's a couple of degrees right here. And I don't think there's any right place to put it. I think that no matter what, wherever you set it, it's only the exact perfect angle at that exact one height in that moment that you're, you know, that you're going through. And so for that reason, I'm going to set it straight to 90 degrees with me setting this rear end up as close as I think I can get it to what it'll actually be. We changed the pinion angle. This automatically changed the second we did that. So I think we'll end up chasing a ghost to try to get that perfect. So we end up depending a certain amount on the spring's ability to conform to it. We don't want those angles to be more than they have to be. We want to try to get it as close as we can. But at the end of the day, we are going to depend a little bit on the spring's ability for that base to just twist and conform to the cup itself. We're going to go straight up and down 90 degrees. And I would expect as we like take a jack and run this up and down, we're going to see that spring is going to bow in and out a small amount front to back as it follows that. And we'll look at that when we get this car all together and see how good we did. So, with all that said, now let's weld it up. All right. Weld her up. That's that. All right, now the center of where I'm going to relieve it is right. Is that right? Let me get over here where I can look, y'all. Hang on. Let me look. No. Right there. Let's see what we got. I'm going to do about 3 inches. Yep. Cut this dude off. So this pipe is 5 inch, but the spring's 5 inch. So we gotta, hey, work what you got, folks, right? So we're gonna make it work. Oh yeah. A little more. Oh, we're good now. We're good. Let's see how that looks. I want 1 inch. I'm pushing the spring all the way over towards it. And then I got that right there. Right there. I'm gonna draw that line right there. I'm gonna throw that up there. Round that like that. Down right there. Down right there. I got her. Oh yeah, we well on the way now. Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. Man, yeah, let's get a grinder. All right. Yep, there's my 1 inch. That's what I was after right there, y'all. A couple spots. Yeah, I'm gonna put a temporary spot right there. Boom! There it is. I like how this clearance right here we did for the spring turned out. I think that did really well. And just looking here, like even when I push the spring over in the pocket as far over that way as I can on the mount, I've still got more than 1 inch there. And we know we need it because we know the rear ends get shoved to the left, you know, just by impacts and stuff on those rubber bushings. So we need the clearance, we've got it, I'm happy with it. All right, well we need our jack plates for our jack bolts to go through for our springs. And I'm looking at this and so I'm gonna have some tubes that are gonna come up. I'm gonna have one that comes across. I'm gonna have some that go forward, and I'll be able to like weld a jack plate in, you know, that I can run my jack bolt down through in the middle of that. And I want the tubing and the bars and everything to all be the same height. I want this to all be level and everything. The jack plate itself can be different side to side. I know now that I want to have my spring table different, where that I'm lower on this right side than I am this left side. So I'm okay with running 2 different height jack plates. And here's what I'm thinking. My right height is very close as far as where the rear end is sitting right now. We're very close to how that's going to sit static right height in this car. And I am 5 inches up from the top of this frame with this 13-inch spring right here. And so, like, if I was to put my jack plate right here, that works. I'd be able to completely unload that spring, and I expect at static ride height that I'm going to load, you know, 1 3/4 inches, 2 inches of spring compression is going to be going on here at static ride height. So, like, if I was sitting on it, you know, with no load, then I've got plenty of adjustment to come down. But I can't do that on this side. And the reason I can't do that on this side is because that's a 16-inch spring, and I want to be able to put maybe an 18-inch spring in the future. And so, like, if I was to take and put this at 5 inches, well, you know, it's at 7 inches right now. So I'm automatically putting 2 inches of load into this, even with the screw all the way out. Like the cup would be backed up to the plate that the jack bolt is through, and I would have 2 inches of compression on this spring just sitting here. So I need to come up some on this side, especially if I went to an 18-inch. Now, do I need to go all the way up, you know, to the top of the spring? No, not necessarily, because this is going to be a lot less spring on this side, you know, so it's less spring, and I'm definitely going to have some preload in this spring, you know, so maybe I need to come up 1 inch. 1 inch probably works very well, so for example, being at 5 inches on the jack plate on this side, 6 inches on that side. That's going to be easy to do because we can put our tubes in where that I'm on the bottom sides of the tubes, you know, with the plate on this side, and maybe I'm on the top side of the tubes on this side. And we can make everything work so that, you know, we're horizontal, everything's level, but we actually do have the stagger that we want in the plates themselves. All right, that's the plan. Let's knock it out. We are going to put her right here. And that's where she's going.
say? I said 6 inches, right? Well, 6 inches it is. There's 6 right there.
There it is. Yep, there it is. This top is getting cut off, but I'm going to do a cap, and I want all of this tube to come up around this, where I create this like top that's like a base that I can weld that tube down into. I don't want to like have this funky 3-way angle cutting. It'd be easier for me to do it like this. Let's see what that needs to be. Oh, I'm gonna say 14 inches is gonna be plenty. Let's go get 14 inches of tubing. Oh, we there. Not pulling that? No, that's okay. That's actually a little low. That's okay. Let me just back it out a little bit. Yep, that's it. Alright, so lay this up here, try to get this right. I mean, it don't technically matter. There we go. That. And then get in these plugs Christopher McGuire sent me from On the Burn. Oh, one bigger. One bigger. Too big. Just right. Oh, that's going to be it. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm wanting to have this joint, and then this is going to come down and cap in. And I didn't want some funky, you know, where you're cutting this way and that way or whatever. It's like I'm going to make a good solid capped corner. Because I got a bunch of tubes going to all come in here and join. And they get ugly so quick. So I'm going to weld that up. I'm going to cap that dude right there. Do both sides. And then we'll go ahead and, oh, we got the back tube we got to put in next. I got to weld all this up. Well, I feel like these two towers right here were definitely the hard part of this, getting them right. Now we get to do the fun part, just throwing these tubes in. All we gotta do is just plug them in like Lego blocks in between. So, get the right tubes. That one's gonna be the first one. That one goes in right there. Yes, I looked at spring clearance. I've got about 3/4 of an inch on this back right here on this left side. I've got about an inch on this right side because we're gonna sit a little bit different. Could be an issue. I'm not going to say that I won't never run into a case where I need to relocate this or put a dent in this tube or something. I mean, like I said, that's something that as you move the rear end around and stuff, you know, possibly. But it works good for where we're starting. We're going to go with it. Flush that up. All right. Got something to hold her there for a sec. See if I can get this side dial in there. So we got that one in. All right, so the next one going in. So one going up top here. Let's see, which way is this going? Trimmed all this stuff. Now if I can get it to work. There we go. So I want that flush to that top right there. Alright, so there's that. Now, next one is going over here. Like this right here. Now this is 1.5 inches, so my superstructure is 1.5 inches right here. I got 1.25 inches right here. Don't need overkill. This one is just holding the jack plates. It's going to do a little more than just jack plates. Going to have an area up here for some ballast weight. It's going to work out really good. Nonetheless, I already marked me some lines. Got this thing. I'm running like 10 inches across. Here's what I'm doing, y'all. All right. That's on there. Let's get this side over here. All right, got a couple more here. I mean, I'm going to tie all this rear on. Well, I don't want to push through this tube right here. So we're just going to bring it forward into the main structure of the cage. Not a big deal. I'm throwing, so you see I got one for each side, a little short one right here. Already cut them to be just money, right where they need to be. Yep, I am absolutely eyeballing this bad boy. Right there. Go. Oh, come here. Come here. Put you right. Is that it right there? That's it right there. Alright, so yeah, the springs here. Alright, so yes, it all works. Springs in here. Yes, we're fine. That works. We're good with that. And the rear end, as far as like the rear end clearing this tube right here, yep, to the jack, put it under it. It just pulls right up through here. It clears this back tube. Coming up forward and everything. I want these tubes to be as close up as possible because my fuel cell structure is going right here. I want it to be the 1.5 inch docal right here because we're tying on our fuel cell structure onto this. So I want this superstructure to be stout. And then out here on these points, that's where we'll tie on for the rear of the car as far as the bumper and the structure, you know, to make the body, hold the body in for crash safety. So, I gotta burn all this in right quick. I'm going to mark it right here, and right here, right here, right here, down through there, down through here, okay. Ooh, it's too hot to hold my hand on it. I'll hold my hand on that spring, or don't let it move. And I'm gonna see if I can't get my marker and go around on the inside of this spring. Find that center. I like it right there. Go like that. Goes right there. Got my marks lined up. I did turn the welder up a little bit. I want to burn this one in pretty good. If that pulls that plate loose, I want it to be ripping tubes apart the whole 9 yards, which, well, I don't really want to rip tubes apart, but you know what I mean. got a good idea how to do this one easily and get it right. So, plate's ready to go. Let's just put some load on it. Right. Yeah. Let's load it up. Maybe that is the way to do it. See if I can get all this. I should be able to just do it all. Yeah. Just like this right here. And then put some load on it. On the crush, I was running these real simple jack bolt and cup deals like this right here. I don't think I'm gonna stick with these on this car. I'm gonna talk to Mr. J. Neal with BSB about maybe something a little better. I don't know if maybe I'm gonna go to a swivel. I'm definitely gonna have some type of a drop difference between them. But then also, I don't know, I asked about the Torrington bearings and all of that. I'm not sure. Maybe on the right side, the Torrington bearing might be beneficial to get like the right kind of cup that bearing can go in. I'm gonna talk to him about it. I'll let you know how that turns out. But for right now, we're just gonna load it up like this. Cause we're trying to see where these tubes need to go. So I'm just gonna, well, I'm not really gonna put the load in it. Drop that down. Back in my jack's hand right there. Oh, that's got some load in it now. Woo! Sit up there. Yeah, I don't turn that jack screw too much. But that's okay. I want them all the way out. That way I know what it takes to get it up out of there. Now, the question is, this tube right here. And what can I do there? I got a little piece of 1.25 inch here, which that's going to be 1.5 inch. Okay, I'm good to go on this side. I can cut tube, come right in there like that right there. Great, perfect. Now this one here though. I can't offset this tube enough. Like it is literally right there. But the thing about it is, the spring needs to be where the spring needs to be. The jack bolt, cup, and everything, it needs to be in the best place for racing. So, you know, like that's what I want to do. Put this in first. And I'm just going to have to put a shorter jack bolt in over here, which I can because, you know, I took and did this, you know, with the plate down lower, you know, for the 13-inch spring right here. So I definitely, like that jack bolt is all the way out, and I'm only going to be probably running that jack bolt down 1 to 2 inches. So I definitely can go to like a 6-inch, you know, bolt right here, and I'll be fine. So I think that's what it's going to boil down to, is that right there. So I'm going to cut it and put it in. I'm going to take this jack bolt out where I don't trap it in there. That's for sure. All right, I got this side ready to go in. Get her in there. Get her in there, get her in there, get her in there. Here it is, all welded up. I'm liking this. I'm really liking it. I'm glad I put the jack bolts in first. This tube, this 11-inch, yep, won't go. Honestly, it's got about a 3-inch head right here. I probably could take 1 inch off of that and it would work fine because it will just practically slide in right now. So I might, or just depending, like I said, I think I'm gonna call Mr. J. Neal and talk about like maybe the best cups to put back here. There may be a specific jack bolt to go with that, but like an 8-inch, a 6-inch, you know, anything less than an 11 is gonna work fine there. So I'm happy with that. beefy, beefy, beefy. I think I'm gonna put some plates here on the next episode and do all of this rear, mount the fuel cell, get all of that next. Of course, 100%, there are some things in this design that your comments help steer, and I appreciate that. So if you got opinions on it, drop them, hit me with it. I read everything. It helps us to be able to build a better chassis. And of course, if you are not subscribed, a lot of good stuff going on here. So hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications where you can see the next one where we're going to do the fuel cell, the rear tubes, and then we're going forward on this build. See you next time.